of the over 700 kilometers of road was commissioned by the president. Those critics were saying, look, how can you commission 30 kilometers out of over 700 kilometers? And those would say, it is unheard of. But, well, it is part of the delivery of this government. Let's get to hear from a former presidential candidate in the 2019 election and former national chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, Chief John Peter Ame, is live for us here in Abuja. So thanks so much indeed for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
2 years of Bola Tinubu, in summary, how would you describe it?
For me, it has been very disappointing. That just to state the obvious fact, because for the first 1 year, the president was nowhere to be found. He was spending most of his time in France and in UK. And when it eventually settled down, he took the second part of that same year to try to settle himself in office by buying luxurious items like the yacht, refurnishing the presidential villa, buying kitchen utensils and vehicles for National Assembly and for himself, and then buying private jet for himself. These are the things he did in the early stage of his presidency. It wasn't about concern on how to make sure that the life becomes more bearable and more comfortable, the economy, become more. And there were a lot of hasty conclusion and hasty decision taking that were not properly planned, that were not properly organized or coordinated. Because one of the things that led us where we are today is the unplanned, unscheduled, unorganized removal of fuel subsidy. Because people don't understand that one thing can actually destroy the economy. Because if you remove subsidy without a plan, because we taught in school that, you want to have policy. What are your plans for the policy? How do you want to execute the policies? And what do you think the impact of that policy will be on the general populace that you are governing over? And the president stood, hurriedly, hastily removed fuel subsidy without such plans. And to cushion the effect of the removal of fuel subsidy, because we're depending on the subsidy regime, and there was corruption in that subsidy regime, the president never talked about it and went straight to remove it. And then you remember, that same day, transporters increased their transportation fare by over 300%. Filling station increased for sales price. So the life became so harder. When you're in government, you're not talking about yourself. You're talking about those you are governing. The life became so harder for working Nigerians, whether in the private sector, the unorganized sector, or the underemployed. Those who are underemployed and those who are not employed at all. Because transportation, so much investment in transportation that we don't have, affects the daily life of the people. Because you talk about goods and services. If you call for a plumber now and his transportation increases, he has to increase how much he will charge you. If you call for, when you are moving your tomato from Jos to Lagos, if that cost of transportation increase, you also increase the cost of selling the tomatoes. So the president never took that into never factored that into any of his policy implementation.
Did they have any option?
And caused so much confusion.
Did they have any option other than removing the subsidy?
Yeah, removing the subsidy with plans. Probably like, let me learn from the past experience. Can we provide, buses? Talk to Innocy Motor, talk to Nord Motors, all these other motors, and provide buses that that will cushion the effect of whatever transporters intend to do to take advantage of the hasty removal, so that Nigerians won't suffer from the high cost of goods and services. So those were not done. And let me tell you, today Nigerians have not recovered. Nigerians are still suffering. So we can't look at all the decisions that the president have taken. You can just look at it. Fuel was at 197. Today you're buying fuel at 88. We thank God that Dangote had the courage to invest in that refinery project long before the APC came into power, because that project started under Goodluck Jonathan. If Dangote had not had the courage to do that, and this certain decision was taken, maybe most of us would be in Ghana or Benin Republic today. So we must commend Dangote and his refinery for helping us to actually survive this disaster of a policy, because there's nothing you can call it, but Nigerians are suffering.
If you look at it, technically speaking, by exfusion of time and by the PIA, subsidy would have been gone, because in fact in the budget of 2023, by the mid-year, by July, there wouldn't have been any provision, budgetary allocation for subsidy. I mean, isn't a matter of time anyways that would have gone? 2 months after the president had gotten into office.
The PIA was to encourage local refineries to spring up and then allow them to survive. And look at the investment they have made in our own refineries, both in Port Harcourt, Kaduna, that none of all those investments have gone to waste. The president have not talked about, how to set up a committee to look at the mismanagement of those resources and those who were responsible for trying to put that back or upstream to be able to generate more, energy for Nigerians to travel around. So even if the PIA had given provisions that by June or so or July that subsidy would have gone, the presidency have time. Even with 1 month, the president could set up, sit down with professionals and set up a way that this effect will not be a rush effect that would, drive all of us.
It was a good policy, but badly implemented. That's your point.
That's been my point. That's always been my point. Hastily, badly implemented.
It was not timely as far as
it wasn't timely. It didn't take Nigerian citizens into consideration.
And that goes into the foundation of the problems that we're facing right now.
Nothing else. A major cause of our problem. You can't.
But the president said he doesn't regret it.
You could be in power and then get blinded by the authority that the power that you are exercising. But you need to know that power is given to you in trust. That power is given in trust on behalf of the Nigerian people. You need to factor how much is the minimum wage for workers.
But it does look like a lot of the Nigerian people are saying that there's a way that politicians are always hailed when they are doing something good. They'll say mukeso. Go ahead. But it does look like a lot of Nigerians are also, you are not satisfied. But a lot of Nigerians say, Mukeso, Tinubu, Mukeso, because look at the defections that are going into the party. And the party has said, it's because we are performing. It is because they are delivering to Nigerians. That is why the defections are happening. Do you think that if the president was failing, those who are moving into his party would have done that?
It would be a delusional, for the party to think that they are performing. Nigerians are not moving en masse. We just celebrated 2 years presidency of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Where are the people rejoicing? There are no people rejoicing. The thing is about the core rules of whatever thing you want to use to check a parameter to use to check your government is with the people. Because you can't have a voice properly voice there. That means the voice of the people is the voice of God. And if you have elitist movement from one party, governor has one vote. The governors who are moving lost their state. They couldn't even deliver for their presidential candidate. They couldn't even deliver for themselves, being vice presidential candidates in Delta. So you can't use that. If you look at Akwa Ibom, he has been afraid to move because he knows that he's going to be in danger. Because the people are not rejoicing with his movement. That's why you see every day the Akwa Ibom governor is explaining why he needs to move, why he has to move, why he wants to move, and people should understand with him. So because you know that the reaction of the people towards President Ahmed Bola Ahmed government is that of pain. Is that of disappointment? Is the fact that the president is not getting his policy right? Because what kind of embarrassment is all this? Where have you seen that you need to have project flag off? And when project is completed, you have the commissioning of that project. You can't be commissioning project face by face in order to be able to pretend to want to show progress when none exists. Because what is 30 kilometers compared to 700 kilometers, which is close to about 5% of the project?
So it should have rather be an inspection of project
rather than inspection of project. You can't. This is an error. I've never seen it. Even African small countries, even the ones that have been overtaken, by people, you have never seen it. That a president will go and commission a 5% part of a project, of a larger project. That means you don't even believe that you can complete this project. Why did you ever? Look, Nigeria has about 46,000 kilometers of federal roads that are not working. Why are we investing in those processes?